From modern research to magic and philosophy, meditation is recognized as crucial for progress. Dion Fortune defines rituals as meditation in action. In the words of Israel Regardie, we cannot control anything without controlling our breath. According to David Shoemaker, the great work becomes a living meditation when progressing on the path. And according to Standford Kelly McGonigal, meditation is so vital that even sucking at it is beneficial. The brain. In her book The Willpower Instinct, McGonigal views meditation as the best training for boosting self-discipline. It doesn't only help you to become better at meditating, it actually improves various self-control skills, including attention, focus, stress management, impulse control, and self-awareness. Willpower. Moreover, meditating daily increases your ability to exert otherwise limited willpower, which, according to the Ciceros, is actually magical. According to McGonigal, willpower is what makes us individuals in a society. And Kabbalistically, this likely has to do with willpower and the true will both ascribing to Gebura. Let me know if you agree. Scientifically, meditation makes the brain develop more gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, which is the so-called wise brain responsible for reasoning, willpower, and self-regulation. Charging the battery. This has plenty in common with the teachings of the Indian philosopher Swami Vivekananda. According to his Raja Yoga, quote, "From rhythmical breathing comes a tendency of all molecules in the body to move in the same direction. When the mind changes into will, the nerve currents change into a motion similar to electricity. This shows that when will is transformed into the nerve currents, it is changed into something like electricity. When all motions of the body have become perfectly rhythmical, the body has become, as it were, a gigantic battery of will." Unquote. Fast results. Luckily, meditation's benefits do come quickly. After only 3 hours of the later discussed Fourfold Breath, a study's participants improved awareness and self-control, and after 11, the researchers could actually recognize changes in their gray matter. Neural connections. The mentioned simple meditation helps form new neural connections between regions crucial for focusing and controlling impulses. Another study found 8 weeks of daily meditation increased both participant self-awareness and gray matter in the corresponding areas. Speeding up evolution. McGonigal views this as the closest we can get to speeding up our evolution and using our brains more fully, and a significant reason is that it teaches mindfulness. In practice, the mind drifts onto something and you bring it back on the task. In life, this translates into increasing awareness of when you're distracted or diverted from a goal, and as McGonigal says, quote, "Meditation is not about getting rid of all your thoughts. It's learning not to get so lost in them that you forget what your goal is. Don't worry if your focus isn't perfect when meditating. Just practice coming back to the breath again and again." Unquote. Oxygen. Regardie explains that since life is all-penetrant and all-pervasive, the very air we breathe is actually charged with vitality. And as quoted in My Discipline or Something Else from his one-year manual, quote, "The intaking of larger quantities of oxygen has a distinct effect on the endocrines, which undergo an enormous stimulation. This might be due to the improved circulation of blood that follows from the rhythmic excursion of the diaphragm. In any event, the student will at least have gained an immeasurable increase in willpower and indomitability of purpose in having trained himself to overcome his own slothfulness." Unquote. In his autobiography of trauma, Peter Levine defines rhythmic breathing as linking one's consciousness to the collective unconscious. Self-awareness. According to a 2010 Harvard study, most people spend about 50% of their time on autopilot. While it may be argued Gurdjieff was entirely against that, deliberately utilized, the same lets one not waste precious willpower and decisions. On the contrary, too much of it hinders thought awareness, preventing from breaking unproductive habits. Default mode network. When running on autopilot, the brain activates what science calls the default mode network, or DMN. Being what Gurdjieff calls sleeping, such scenarios include daydreaming, worrying, perseverative thinking, and disturbing thoughts. They all engage a hub of the DMN called the posterior cingulate cortex, or PCC, which is involved when craving things one is actually addicted to, hence curing depression and anxiety is so challenging. Mindfulness comes to the rescue again. Similar to McGonigal, Regardie, and numerous others, Brown University Judson Brewer views mindfulness meditation as one of the best ways to become more conscious. Brewer's Unwinding Anxiety reveals mindfulness really isn't about emptying your mind, but actually becoming aware of what's inside. One's totality. Besides breaking habits and thought patterns, mindfulness prepares for dealing with one's totality and resurfacing parts of the psyche, potentially resulting from rituals, which is what I say. MRI Scans. MRI scans showed regular meditators had substantially less active DMN. Also, by reducing PCC activation, such a practice could help break free from self-destructive habits. After an experiment, Brewer's team also found mindfulness meditation changes one's brain. MRI scans showed regular meditators had substantially less active DMN. Also, that by reducing PCC activation, such a practice could help break free from self-destructive habits. A great gift. In his book How to Ikigai, Tim Tamashiro describes mindfulness meditation as the most wonderful skill. Similar to Christopher Hart, calling them septic tanks, Tamashiro likens most people's minds to coffees with raving monkeys. Tamashiro views mindfulness meditation as a tool that gives your brain the break it needs. Like Regardie, he advocates not judging but recognizing your thoughts for what they are and gently reverting to the task at hand, which is counting your breaths as found in a moment. Instant vacation. Mentioning Ikigai, according to Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles, mindfulness meditation is an instant vacation, training the mind to actually enter flow states. The authors view the Fourfold Breath as very effective for slowing the stream of thoughts and clearing mental horizons. The key, as emphasized by the others, isn't making your mind a blank slate. It is observing your thoughts and letting them pass, kinda like in Morita therapy. Flow. Mindfulness meditation creates an optimal environment for flow, which really is a form of flow under will. The main reason is that mindfulness and flow states are all about being here and now, present, aware, and entangled with reality. On the contrary, flow states require enjoyable and challenging experiences / tasks, whereas mindfulness can theoretically be all the time. Brainwaves. Meditation generates alpha and theta brainwaves. While it takes about 30 minutes for beginners to experience them, avid meditators get those almost immediately. The gap. In the words of Viktor Frankl, quote, "Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Unquote. Mindfulness meditation teaches you to exercise your freedom to choose action over reaction. It aids in overcoming the potentially permanent fight or flight and not being a victim of past experiences. Stress. Mindfulness meditation reduces stress, which McGonigal views as the enemy of willpower and conscious decision making. Therefore, it helps with what bullet journaling's modern inventor Ryder Carroll defines as intentional living. Let me know if you agree. Stress forces one to surrender to their fight or flight. Reducing it and being present lets the pulse or plan response activate. And what the second does is send energy to the prefrontal cortex, helping to self-regulate and fully avail of the gap Frankl regards. Becoming mindful. As stressed in magical books, mindfulness meditation begins with learning to stay still and fully alert in a comfortable position. Commonly, that's either an asana posture or sitting with straight back and hands on your lap, which is the so-called Western pose or Western posture. Instead of timer, you can actually use a sleep tracking app, ending your sessions more gently and gradually. Stillness is the key. On the other hand, Regardie also recognizes laying on your back as perfectly suitable. Whatever you pick, start with a few daily minutes of observing all bodily sensations without judging them or reacting to any, staying maximally still. As Ryan Holiday says, stillness is the key. The Fourfold Breath. Incorporate the Fourfold Breath. That's the repetition of counting for 4 while inhaling, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and then holding for a fourth 4. The key is sustaining an even tempo for extended periods, which are your mindfulness meditation practices. For musicians, this part might be a piece of cake. Others can benefit from actually using a metronome, which nowadays is on your smartphone. Mindfulness meditation. A way to begin your mindfulness practices could be by contemplating a tarot card aligned with the work you likely did right before. Another is to start with an astral middle pillar or the 3 of 5 exercises. To increase mindfulness even more, work extensively with Jupiter Hesed. Telemites can also fit in the 11-fold seal within the Fourfold Breath. As far as for the actual telemic middle pillar, that's rather sketchy. My favorite is the 3 of 5 or the 3 pillars technique. For those resonating, I suggest using all the names for each Sephira and perhaps the letters and those of the lighting flash pots in Queen and King scale colors. Doing so, you may actually notice virtually all names match the 4 counts, somewhat reminding you of Yod-Heh Vav-Heh's fourfold nature. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you agree, support me if you want, and thank you for your time.